The Happy Prince. Chapter 1. Happy and in Love. In a country far away, a young prince lives happily in the wonderful palace of Sanssouci. Nothing sad comes through the door of that palace. Every day he plays with his friends in the palace garden. Every night he laughs and sings with his friends in the biggest room in the palace. Everything there is beautiful. But what about the other people in his country? The prince doesn't know about them. He never leaves the palace or its garden, so he never thinks about other people, and he never asks any questions to learn about them. Everyone at the palace calls him the Happy Prince, and when he dies, they make a statue of him. The statue of the Happy Prince stands on a tall column over the city. He has gold all over him from head to foot. His eyes are two sapphires, and there is a big red ruby in his sword. All the people in the town love him. He's very beautiful, says one of the town councillors, but he can't do very much. When a little boy begins crying for something new to play with, his mother says to him, "Why can't you be happy? The Happy Prince never thinks of crying for new things." A sad, tired man looks up at the wonderful gold statue. He says quietly, "Well, there is one truly happy man in the city. That's something." Some poor young students walk past in their red coats. They see the sun on the prince's sapphire eyes, and they say, "Look, he's an angel." Their teacher hears this and quickly says to them, "What are you talking about? What do you know about angels?" "We see them in our dreams," say the children. "We'll stop dreaming then," says the teacher angrily. Early that year, in the country far from the city, a little bird, a swallow, meets a reed by the river. The reed is tall and beautiful, and the swallow likes her at once. "Shall I love you?" he asks her openly. She says nothing, but moves her head slowly up and down. The swallow flies round and round her happily. The other swallows laugh at him and his love, the reed. She has no money, and she comes from a very big family, they say. It's true, lots of other reeds live with her near the river, but the swallow doesn't listen to his friends. He likes his summer love story. When the summer finishes, the other swallows fly away to Egypt. They leave the swallow with his love. After 6 weeks, with only the reed to talk to, he isn't very excited by her anymore. She says nothing to me. Does she love me? The reed moves beautifully in front of him. She loves her home, but I like visiting different countries, so she must come with me. In the end, he asks her, "Come away with me," but the reed moves her beautiful head left and right. She doesn't want to leave her nice home by the river. So the swallow says sadly, "All right, then I'm going to Egypt without you. Goodbye," and he flies away. Chapter 2. Why is it raining? All through the day the swallow flies, and at night he arrives in the big city. Where can I stay here? Where can I find a bed to sleep in? He thinks, and then he sees the statue of the Happy Prince on its tall column. "I can stay here," he says. "From here I can look down at the town and up at the open sky too." So he sits between the feet of the Happy Prince, and he looks about him. "Tonight I have a beautiful gold room to stay in," he says quietly, and then he begins to go to sleep. Suddenly a big drop of water falls on him. Soon after that, a second drop hits him on the head too. "That's strange. It's raining. Reeds like the rain, but not swallows," he says. "I must find a better bed to sleep in. This statue isn't any good in the rain. But wait a minute. The sky's clear. I can't understand it." Just then, when the swallow is opening his wings to fly away, a third drop of water falls on him. The little bird quickly looks up, and what does he see? He sees the sad eyes of the Happy Prince. Tears are running down the statue's gold face and falling down on the swallow at his feet. The Happy Prince is crying. His face looks very sad and beautiful, and the little bird feels very sorry for him. "Who are you?" asks the swallow. "I'm the Happy Prince," the statue answers. "Then why are you crying on me?" asks the bird. "My name comes from happier times," says the statue, and he tells the swallow all about those past days in the palace of Sanssouci. "But now I am dead, and I'm standing up here. I have only a lead heart now, but I must cry because, from here, I can see all the poor people and all the ugly things in my city." So the statue isn't all gold, thinks the swallow, but he's a bird from a good family, and so he says nothing to the prince about it. Then the statue says quietly, "Far away there's a poor house in a little street. Near the open window sits a tired woman at a table. She's working and her hands don't stop moving. She's making an evening dress for one of the young ladies at the palace. It has beautiful red flowers on it. In a little bed across the room from her, her son lies ill with a fever. He asks for something nice and cold to drink, but his mother can give him only river water, and so he does not get well. Swallow, swallow, please pull the ruby from my sword and take it to her. My feet can never leave this column, so I cannot move from here. But my friends, the other swallows, are waiting for me. At this time of the year, they fly up and down the Nile from Cairo and talk to Egyptian water flowers there. I must fly away to be with them, says the little swallow. Chapter 3. Doing something to help. Swallow, little swallow, please stay with me for only one night, says the statue. You can help me. That poor boy is very thirsty and his mother is very sad. I don't like boys very much, says the swallow. They like hitting little birds with stones. I remember last summer 2 bad boys down at the river. The happy prince looks sadly at the swallow. The little bird feels sorry for him. He doesn't like saying no to people. But I can fly fast, after all. It's very cold here now, but yes, I can stay with you for one night and help you. Thank you, little swallow, says the prince. So the swallow takes the ruby from the prince's sword. He flies away across the city with the expensive red stone in his mouth. When he flies past the palace, he sees a beautiful young lady. She is standing at an open window and a young man is standing next to her. What a wonderful night, says the young man, and he looks up at the clear sky. What a wonderful young woman you are. Is my new evening dress ready? I must wear it soon, says the young woman. I want to see the dark red flowers all over it. Why can't these dressmakers work more quickly? The little swallow flies on across the river. He flies over little old shops and past big ships to the poor house in the little street with the boy and his mother in it. The mother is sleeping in her chair when he arrives. The boy's head is hot with fever and he cannot sleep. The little bird flies into the room and puts the big ruby on the table near the woman's hand. Then he flies round the bed. He makes the boy's head cool with his wings. That's nice, says the boy. I'm feeling better now. And he stops moving about in the bed and starts sleeping. When the boy goes to sleep, the swallow flies back to the happy prince. It's strange, he says. It's a cold night, but I feel very warm now. That happens when you do something good to help someone, says the prince. The little swallow thinks a lot about this. Then he feels tired and he goes to sleep. He always feels tired when he thinks a lot. The next day, early in the morning, the swallow flies down to the river for a bath. Tonight I am going to Egypt, he thinks happily. Through the day he flies round the town and visits all the important buildings there. An old man sees him in the sky and says, That's strange, a swallow here at this time of the year. And he writes a long letter about it to the newspaper. When night comes, the little swallow flies back to the happy prince. What do you want from Egypt? He asks. I'm leaving now. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, says the prince. Please stay with me one night more. But my friends, the other swallows, are waiting for me. Tomorrow they fly up to the river Nile to Luxor.